Gothic Idol. Yeah, Zao 12 km torpedoes. I don't even want to comment on that. Besides the fact that we're gonna have a whole new Atago episode where people are gonna be fucking torping from everywhere just because they have the torps. Oh, come on.
Enemy destroyer detected. Enemy cruiser detected. Enemy battleship.
Good morning, Corporal Will. Welcome back. With all the radar added, does it matter much? Well, yes and no. It matters because you can use those smoke screens not just for, you know, playing in someone's face. Good morning, Backadder. Welcome back. You can use it to also, you know, stay at the mid-long range and basically almost I almost said detonate, Jesus. Perma smoke someone who desperately needs it, like Worcester, like Des Moines, like, I don't know. And they're gonna be very grateful for it. But they are gonna be outside of the radar range. And all this radar right now, well, that's a pure result of basically, you know, the change. I think I got him. Oh, fucking hell. That's purely because, you know, Wargaming just introduced a whole new patch with a cruiser split and everything. And everybody is eager to try it. So yeah, it does matter. And it probably isn't gonna be so heavily radar populated once everybody gets their dicks soft from, you know, raping Clevelands and being Clevelands and so on and so forth. However, then we're gonna have a whole new episode when the rest of the cruisers arrive. Yes, I know, but... There, see? Clevelands. What do I think about Grozavoy radar? Yeah. Same thing I put on the Discord. I just laughed. It's hilarious. They got, whoa! That angle citadel? Oh, That's a bit absurd. Oh shit. I didn't even realize Alabama was shooting at me. Ugh. I mean, making another black in the game. That's what they're doing. But black is something you really don't see often. Of course, the more time passes by, the more you're gonna actually see it. Because more and more seasons are gonna pass by, and more people are gonna have the opportunity to have one.
Keep up the Muz Citadel show, and of course your maniacal mayhem.
Well, thank you for 6 months, Mr. Gizeki. Much appreciated. Will do.
Enemy cruiser sighted.
So, you know, black is something that's gonna be seen more often the more time passes by. But it's still not a ship that's gonna heavily populate the servers, no matter how many seasons pass, because it's not exactly a super fun ship to keep playing. You know, it's a ship that you're definitely gonna be hyped about when you get it, and you're gonna feel like the strongest ship in the world and blah blah blah. Well, not exactly. Torpedoes have range, but you know, how often do you torp something in black? Very rare. So you literally depend on gunfire. And that gunfire, and if you're shooting in the open, well, you know, meh. And if you want to, you know, conceal yourself with smoke and radar, then you're useful. But now with, oh wow, lucky there. But now with all these radars, I'm not sure. Boogie, thank you so much for 3 months, much appreciated. Now with all these smoke, sorry, not smoke screens, all these radars lurking around, you know, you have, let's stop and think about it for a second. Who has radar? American cruisers tier 7 plus usually have radar. All tier 8s, 9s, and 10s do, and some tier 7s. British, tier 8 plus, even some tier 7s. So American, British, Russian, tier 8 and plus, they all have radars. Pan-Asian destroyers, tier 8 plus, all have radars. Missouri, Kronstadt, they all have radars. Have I missed a nation? American, Russian, British, Pan-Asian. Like, 2/3 of the nations in the game have fucking radar. And they keep adding it. And not only that, they keep making these radars more and more stronger. Like these, what they call them, legendary upgrades. What are we, you know, sailing champions now? Is this League of Legends? But okay. This whole thing is gonna make, I heard, Minotaur radar something like 1 and something minutes. What the hell is that? And when I go and tell, you know, that radar is OP and kind of broken, nope, it's not. They don't agree. What can you do?
Enemy battleship sighted.
It's not because where I think the wargaming is kind of making a mistake is they look at the sheer stats of ships that have radar and they think you know, those ships are not overperforming, so radar is not overpowered. Well, they don't need to overperform per se. Them having radar is lighting, you know, enemy ships for the entire team. They're not gonna be the ones who have their damage increased or something like that all of a sudden greatly because they have a radar, because most of the time you're gonna shoot a DD and there's not a lot of damage to be done to that ship anyway. I mean, come on. But it's everybody else is gonna screw up your game. It's not just about the ship that has the radar, it's about everybody else. So that's the problem that I have with the radar. It lasts too long. And it has massive range. That's the problem. And it's not just that it's not the fact that only the ship that has the radar can see you, like in the Cyclone, for example. Everybody can see you. Like every single ship on the map, if you are in their visual range, can see you. Like 56 seconds off the radar. Outmapper, thank you for gifting sub to Gazer 2175. Much appreciated. And Gazer, welcome to the team. It's those radars just last too long. I remember when Chapayev was first introduced. Chapayev, Donskoy, and Moskva. And everybody started losing their shit. Oh my god, this is gonna completely break the game. This is gonna completely change the game. Yes, that did completely change the way the game is going to be played. It didn't, you know, break the game, or what do you want to call it? Any vary of that. You know, it changed the way that things have to be approached and played. You definitely need to account for radar. But here's the thing. How long was that radar gonna last?
Direct front.
20 seconds. Okay, 20 seconds.
Torpedoes, direct front.
Oh dear God. I wasn't sure I'm gonna dodge that because I was just wiggling. A bit lucky there. 20 seconds. Okay, from all the experience that I have with a destroyer, and God, I've been, you know, I've been playing DDs in pro gaming for what, 2 years almost. 20 seconds is just about enough for you if you're capable enough to survive. Literally. 2 minutes. Wow, 2 minutes. Did I say 2 minutes? 20 seconds. 20 seconds is just enough time for you to be able to sustain the radar in a DD, in a tier 8. I'm not even talking about if you're tier 9 or tier 10 DD, because you even have more HP then. When you get to tier 9 and tier 10 radars, when they start breaking those 30-second plus, that's a problem. Surviving 30 seconds of radar is extremely hard. I'm not even going to go and talk about 50-second radar or a minute lasting radars. That is beyond ridiculous. But, you know, that's what they're introducing right now. And I am like, what do you make of this? It's just, it's not right. And more ships in this game are starting to have that radar. There's so much radar. There's so much hydro. There's so much planes. There's so many catapult and scout planes. Like, ever since this game has started, it's continuously, well, let's try one more game with a Hindi. It's continuously getting harder and harder to play a destroyer. Now, every time in this game, I'm not biased towards destroyers, don't get me wrong, not at all. I play everything. I play cruisers, I play battleships, I play destroyers, and I play carriers. I play everything. The problem that I have with the carriers is their UI is completely messed up and it's unplayable. If you meet anyone that's even remotely, you know, capable, what they're gonna do with their planes is not what you're gonna see on your screen, and then you can't counter it, and it's just a massive pain in the ass. Battleships and their AP, you know, I would be okay with that if this game was going towards realism and simulator, and, you know, one of those shells hits a destroyer, you would expect it to just be cut in half. But it's not. It's not going towards realism and all that stuff, so BBAP, long overdue change. Long overdue. The only difference now, it's gonna have a massive impact on how much the destroyers are gonna get shredded by cruisers and secondaries from the battleships. And it's gonna be basically, well, not exactly a silent buff, because everybody realized this, but it's going to be a significant buff to all those lower caliber guns that needed IFHE to begin with. Not anymore. Radar jammers and all that stuff, not in the plan of wargaming as far as I know. Like, they have no way of throwing, like, they basically introduced a smoke screen to cover yourself, and then they introduced a radar to prevent that from covering. And now, you know, if we're interested in getting something that's gonna block something that's supposed to, you know, make you spotted from something that you use to conceal yourself, is just stacking upon each other. They're just not interested in that, which would be a kind of interesting idea, to be honest. But whatever. There's just so many radars. Ever since the beginning of this game, it just kept being worse and worse, and everybody loses their minds. Everybody loses their minds. The whole community goes crazy whenever something that's a destroyer related buff happens. Like deep water torpedoes. Oh my god. When Pan-Asian destroyers were introduced, and those deep water torpedoes, and when people realized how hard it is to detect those torpedoes, they started losing their mind. It's not fair. It's crazy. It's insane. What is insane? That you have to turn your fucking rudder here and there? Is that insane as a battleship? You have catapult planes, you have scout planes, you have other ships, you have hydro, you have radar, you have carriers and airplanes. There's bazillion amount of things. Bazillion amount of things that can spot destroyers and that can spot those torps they fire, which is their main damage output. And it's really getting harder and harder to play destroyers, especially in competitive environment. If you want to call clan battles competitive environment, okay, let's call it. If you want to call ranked in competitive environments, feel free to. You know, everybody knows that more persistent ones are going to be rank 1 and not necessarily, you know, the best ones. So I don't want to start the whole flame and fires there, but you know, you're competing. It's not just like randoms. Here you don't really give a crap. I mean, a lot of people do. I personally don't, but a lot of people do. And in ranked, you definitely want to compete. You definitely want to beat the other team. So we can call it some sort of a competitive scene. Is it very good? Is it very balanced? Not even gonna go there. That's for some other time. But that season, that ranked season just finished. How freaking hard was it to get rank 1 with a destroyer this season? It was insane. It was insane. All the caps are fixed and rigged for destroyers to go in and suicide. And if you don't go in, you have the entire team losing their shit over you not going in there. There's one cap. There's just one cap that's free, and if you go for it, your team is losing their shit for it, because you're not going for the other suicidal cap. If you know, don't go for it, you can kiss your star goodbye. There's no way that you're gonna save a star with a destroyer this season. I mean, it happened a few times, but that's about it. It was ridiculously hard to save a star, because it was just those radar freaking cruisers and those BBAPs and damage dealers that are gonna save the stars and do good. That's the thing. Battleships that can just consistently deal damage throughout the entire game without ever putting themselves in danger if they want to play like that. And cruisers that also have range, they have hydros because there were no carriers. That was also a very interesting decision to put it that way. There were no carriers, so they could just boost those acquisitions and hydros and radars and planes. You fire torpedoes, they're all, of course they're gonna get spotted, and you're not gonna get hit anything. And even if they don't get spotted by planes or something else, you have hydro. And if they even so much think that you might be there, because there's this genius thing introduced into the game long time ago called RPF, if they so much suspect that you're gonna do and go, you know, somewhere, and they catch a glance of it, they just squeeze that radar, you're spotted in front of them, and guess what? It lasts a whole freaking minute. So you are either forced to go Hercules mode, or you are forced to stay the hell away from everybody and then, I don't know, wait for your team to lose or win for you. You know, which cruiser and which battleship players are gonna have better RNG, or simply outplay or do whatever. And everybody keeps losing their stuff, you know, their shit every time something like a Sashio is introduced into the game. Like, yes, I agree. It's ridiculously powerful. It's really good at what it does, and what it does, it kills battleships. But for the love of God, nobody is noticing, nobody is saying how many anti-destroyer weaponry there is in this game. Everything in this game is oriented towards ship preservation from destroyers. So much HP, so much consumables. Like, now we're getting Worcesters and Clevelands, new Clevelands and all that stuff. You need half of the keyboard to play that ship. Like, it is insane. The only thing it's missing is smokescreen. The only thing. And if you're in a division, it's not a problem. It's really not a problem to just have a smoke screen bot, and have it smoke you. It's really not that big of a problem. Now they're nerfing, I heard they're nerfing the Yu Yang, so the smoke screen is gonna be not 10 seconds in between, it's gonna be 30 seconds. Hey! And what the hell was this game? Really? Already over? Jesus. It's just ridiculous amount of radars coming in, ridiculous amount of hydros, the planes. It's getting harder and harder. And then what did they do? They introduced a radar to Grozovoy. Like, there was not enough radar. Let's give destroyers radar now as well. Like, everything that has a even remote capability of having a radar has a radar. Now we have destroyers, battleships, and cruisers with radar capabilities. The only thing we're missing is carriers. And we have a Graf Zeppelin with a hydro, so we're not that far away, seriously. Japanese. They're the only ones without the radar capability, as far as I know, for now. For now. USA has it, USSR has it, Germany has ridiculous hydros, UK can have it, Pan Asia has it. I'm not going to mention Commonwealth, Italy, and Poland because they're not exactly still in the game properly. And then we have the French. Okay, the French still don't have it, but it is yet to be seen what's going to happen with, you know, the rest. But they actually don't need it. They just stay at a maximum distance anyway. So the point is, like, more than half of the things in this game are radar capable. And that's not the issue, apparently. That's not the issue, but I enjoy playing cruisers, I enjoy playing battleships, I enjoy playing destroyers, and I even enjoy playing carriers when the UI is working properly. I really, really, really think that these radars should get reworked a bit. Like, you can see through islands with hydro, with radar, no problem. There's no cover from them. Smoke screens, and one also thing. I have a Worcester here right now with me, just to show you, just to give you a quick heads up. Of course, I'm just gonna quickly mount the work in progress thing so nobody loses their minds. Although I really don't think this is gonna change. Let me show you what the Worcester is. Let me show you what kind of ships we're getting. Because all of you who already played a rank season, know what it means to go in a destroyer and sail into one direction, full speed, and then you spot a Des Moines. First of all, the UI is broken, and if that Des Moines is sailing towards you full speed and you're sailing towards him, his detection is 10.6, his radar is 9.9. That's 700 meters. Those 700 meters get cut in half. In half by the time you actually even see him on your screen, because we know that works as intended. And then you have 350 meters to turn around. You're not going to turn around. By the time you start turning, he's already 10 km. He squeezes the radar. He sees you. He's just going to continue sailing towards you. You're going to stay in his radar for a minute. A minute. Good luck trying to stay alive. And if that was not bad enough, we have a ship that has 9.5 detectability now. 9.5. Okay? And his radar is 9.9. We have a ship that has a capability, a capital ship loaded with consumables, with guns, with AA. This thing has like 2000 AA rating on long range guns. This thing can stealth detect destroyers. Hey, that's like the main treat in the game. Destroyers equals stealth equals you don't see them, but they see you. That's how they work. And then they send these torpedoes and pray to God that you don't have W, A, S, and D keys on your keyboard, so they actually get some damage. This thing can stealth radar them for a minute. Now we're getting the only DD that we had until not long ago was black. That was the destroyer that had kind of the same capability, because it has something like, where is it? I don't have a captain on it now, but it has something like 5.8, 5.9 detection, and it also has a radar that has 7.5 and lasts 20 seconds. So he can basically, if he smells you somewhere or you're in cap, he can radar you without you seeing him. And he can abuse that and push you out of the way and all sorts of stuff. And people were massively losing their minds over this. Because this thing also has a smoke screen. This thing can smoke screen itself and radar you out of the way and play with you however it wants. But it was just one ship and you needed to suffer 5 seasons of ranked. And you needed to accomplish rank 1 in 5 seasons to get this thing. Now we're getting it for free. Now there's a ship in the game called Grozovoy, which is apparently the least played and least favored tier 10 destroyer in the game, which I kind of agree, because it's not terrible, but there's just better things in it. I mean, let's be honest, it has Russian shell velocity, it has 6 guns, it has 10 torpedoes, it has defensive AA, it has smokescreen, it has 6 km detection, solid range on the guns, defensive AA and good AA. Torpedoes are, what is it, 10 km, 65 knots, 15k damage. They reload forever, but whatever. It's not a bad ship. It's just not a bad ship, but there's better things than it, okay? Now this thing is gonna get a 4th consumable called Radar. Also 7.5 km, 20 seconds. Or at least they propose it. We're gonna have to test it, but this is probably happening because this thing is not desired enough, so it's going to, you know, get buffed. So it is desired, and it's holy shit it's gonna get desired. Not because this thing will suddenly be better, it will stay the same. They won't change a bloody thing about it. I think so. Maybe. I'm not sure. I saw the numbers, but whatever, the stats. But it will have smokescreen and radar capability. There's just so much radars pouring into this game. And just take a look at the text tree, just a little. USA, New Orleans, Baltimore, Buffalo, Des Moines, Missouri, Cleveland, Atlanta, Indianapolis, Seattle, Worcester. 10 ships! 10 bloody ships! We still don't have a couple of them. And you can't see Missouri or Indianapolis right now because they're not available. But they're all here. They all have the radar! 10 ships, just USA. Then we have USSR, Chapayev, Donskoy, Moskva, and then Grozovoy. That's 4 more, that's 14. And then we have UK, Edinburgh, Neptune, Minotaur. That's 3 more, what is that, 17 now? It is insane amount of radars. New Orleans doesn't have any... I didn't meant, sorry, didn't meant New Orleans. I meant Baltimore, Buffalo, Des Moines. I keep saying New Orleans because I still, in my head, it's still a tier 8, sorry. It will be Cleveland, Seattle, and Worcester, Des Moines, Buffalo, Baltimore, whatever. It's insane amount of radars. It's insane amount of hydros, planes. They're flying everywhere. You know, what are you supposed to do as... I'm not even going to say as a DD player, as a player that's going to play destroyers here and there. This is insane. Like I told you, I am not biased towards destroyers by any stretch of imagination. They're extremely fun, they live on the edge, that's why I like them. There's this adrenaline rush that you have, and they're very delicate. You make one mistake, you're out. But now you don't even need to make a mistake, people. That's the problem. Now you have ships that have a capability of radaring you without you ever smelling that they're there. That's what I have a problem with. And that detection is insane. Those ships that have that stealth capability are armed to the teeth with anti-destroyer weaponry. Which is insane. So once you get into their radar range and they squeeze that radar and they start shooting at you, there is a very, very, very good chance that you're dead. There's a very good chance that you're dead. And that's not very fair towards the destroyer players. If we're not playing a simulator, if we're not playing a realistic game or anywhere where, you know, these things can just be killed with one shell or whatever, if they even can, it's just not fair towards them. Not to mention these legendary upgrades where the Minotaur is going to have above a minute. Now, yes, you need to depend on your team to save your ass, but we know how that ends when you are depending on your team. So, I really don't know what to say to all these radar ships that are being introduced and all that stuff. I mean, it's just getting super hard to play a destroyer. It's just getting harder and harder and harder. And, I don't know. I just... I wish there was a way to sustain this. Because you can just try to endure it in the current state. And that's it. You can just pray to God that you were caught in the proper spot behind an island or a big ship that you can bunker behind or something, or just so far away that you can just disengage or something like that. Because in its current state, the radars, in my opinion, are broken and overpowered. Not because the ship having it is going to be overpowered because it has it. It's gonna be, oh my god, suddenly they're gonna be doing 300,000 damage. No, because they're not gonna use the radars to detect battleships. That got fixed, thank God. But they're gonna, you know, hunt these little things. It's not about damage. It's about percentage of damage, and it's about how little HP these things have to begin with. And it's not even about those ships. It's about what comes behind those ships. They're bullies. They're bullies with whole gangs behind them. And they are going to wreck your game after game after game. Now, I personally don't have to play destroyers or a single destroyer. I don't have to grind anything or anything of the above. I can just skip it, whatever. I have them all in the game. I endured enough of this game to have it all. But I can just imagine how it's going to be for people that have to grind something. And they want to grind a destroyer. And I have to endure this crap all the time. I don't think it's very fair. I really don't think it's very fair. And I don't think Wargaming sees a problem here. And I think that's the problem to begin with. So not only carriers are busted up and broken, now we have destroyers that are getting almost impossible to play. So it's all coming down to battleships and cruisers. And if I have to choose between a battleship and a cruiser, well, cruisers are a bit more fun, but they're also less rewarding. And battleships, you know, yeah, just one volley. That's all he needs. One good volley, one good RNG, one good dispersion, and you're dead. And he's not. So, yeah. Whatever. I just hope that they realize this and do something about it.